Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.
Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. I am Seth Greene. I am here today with Paul Himmelstein to talk about a really fascinating protected IRA program you probably haven't heard about. But before we get into that, let's back up a little bit. Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Paul, you've been in the business a long time. How did you get started?
Well, I started almost out of default because in 1977, when I graduated college, there wasn't many jobs available, and interest rates, if everybody remembers, were 18, 19, 20%. People's definition of investment was a money market at the time. So I went to Gimbel's in New York in retailing, and I hated it. I was in there for 9 months, and I says, I got to get out, and came home one weekend, and my father had fixed me up on an interview that I didn't know I was going to have with, at the time, Prudential Insurance Company. And they were very good, had a great training program, but after 2 years, I had married a lovely lady and moved up to Connecticut, and I eventually left Prudential and started my own brokerage. So that's how it worked.
Congratulations. And obviously you've been doing this a long time since then. What do you like best about what you do?
I like helping people. I like showing people other things that they don't know. And I really enjoy, especially the experienced rep, the person that allegedly is the best, and helping them along, because almost everybody needs a coach. And I enjoy the challenges of doing things that other people won't do. For example, a number of times I put together cases, or I get underwriting through, or I devise a marketing plan. So it's always new. And I meet a lot of people, and you get paid to do something you like. So I like it.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful story. So what was it that allowed you, I mean, you've been an innovator in different ways in the industry. Talk a little bit about some of the most common mistakes that folks are making when it comes to their retirement and their IRAs, and that'll kind of lead us into how you came up with this unique solution.
Well, the biggest problem with the IRA is that nobody's ever paid taxes. And it's an American dream that they think that they can take out as little as, I'm talking about people that can afford to defer it and not have to take the income. I'm not talking about the people that have to take the income, but a lot of the people that say, I'm going to wait for the RMD, requirement of distribution age, as if there's some magic bell that goes off that says the IRS, I'm in a lower tax bracket, which doesn't necessarily happen. So it's, it's a time bomb that's been ticking for a long while. And as we know, the government needs money, especially the way it's printing it right now and helping all of us out. And the largest untapped resource the government has is our qualified money, the IRAs, 401ks, thrifts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those are are so subject. And I came across this idea. I have another idea that I've been marketing for over 20 years called the Insured Asset Conversion Trust. And what I do there is in relation to non-qualified money, and I show people how they can have better guaranteed savings and pass on more to those that they want to pass on, and leave Uncle Sam and also protect against the nursing homes. However, what happened was during recent, I was reading about the Secure Act and what it does and the different tax brackets. I say, oh my God, as much as I've been talking about before, it has really rooted home before. And there was two particular things in the Secure Act that really struck home. One is that they were telling everybody, hey, you don't have to start distribution at 70. You can start at age 72. And they sold it as a benefit, as if everybody thinks it's the greatest thing that's happening, when in fact it's really a deficit. It's similar to somebody getting a 40-year amortized loan versus a 20-year amortized loan. Yes, your 40-year amortized loan, your payment amount is so much less, but overall your payments are so phenomenally more than the 20-year. And it brings up to the point, the next one is that they took away the stretch IRA. And I always believed, I saw many cases over the years, and some that did it right, but very few that did it right, the stretch IRA. And the reality is all you're doing is stretching the inevitable out. You're stretching out the inevitable where Uncle Sam's got his hands outstretched, or the nursing home's got their, or looking for your next dollar. And, that's not a good place to be when you have saved all your life to have your own IRA. So I often ask clients, brokers, everybody, is the IRA for you and your family, or is it for the IRS?
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So what is the Protected IRA program that you're talking about?
Protected IRA Plus program has three components to it. The first component is a distribution component. And because in reality, as I said, you got to get it out of that IRA. And people could use many different distribution vehicles. I use a couple, but we don't want anybody to think about, oh, the market's up, the market's down, I can't get out, I'm going to wait and sell. No, they have to have a planned distribution formula that exhausts that IRA over a period of time. There's a second part that's a protection part. And that part is, I think, as important, if not more important, than sorry, gang, than as important, if not more important than just the distribution part, because the reality is the statistics are against us seniors. I can say senior, you can see my gray is I'm turned Medicare age, and when seniors, we believe, we hope we're going to live as long, but there's things that can get in our way, and a lot of us have seen the reality of what our family can, our longevity, and not that many people reach, only 50% of the people that are age 70 reach maturity age or life expectancy age at age 87. And of the people over age 65, 70% some type of extended care. And if you put the two of them together, the odds are almost 90% if you have a couple that one will either need some type of extended care or long-term care, or will actually leave this earth to the Lord. And unfortunately, neither one of these occasions, both the tax man is sitting with his hands outstretched and the long-term care providers did. And somebody's IRA, as I said, can become somebody else's IRA, or the nursing home's IRA, or the Uncle Sam's IRA.
Okay, so that is absolutely fascinating.
And I forgot a part. The third part, which is the most important, is the tax-free accumulation and distribution part. And that's a home run, because many people have heard about Roth IRA or Roth IRA conversions, but many of these people were never available or had available to be able to do a Roth IRA or put it into life insurance or whatever, because they were restricted because it was their employer's money or something of that sort.
Okay, so it's a fascinating concept. I'm not going to ask you the secret sauce. I'm not going to ask you how it works. Obviously, folks need to talk to you for that. But talk to me a little bit about what it does. Can you give me like a hypothetical scenario of this person had this situation?
I have a number of real examples. And one in particular of recent is I had a gentleman that was 80 years old and married to a 65-year young lady. And he'd already seen the maker in his eye. He already had 2 heart attacks and had a decent bit of money in a thrift plan with the US government. And he realized the taxation of that money is so tremendous to himself and his family. You know, most people don't believe. They think, oh, well, just come to my wife. But most people don't realize that when a spouse dies, and you're a 2-income family or you're on IRS, the surviving spouse is in a tremendously higher tax bracket, marginal tax bracket, than when they were as a couple with even the same amount of income and even sometimes less income, because there's less deductions and there's less thresholds and there's phase outs of certain exemptions and of other things. So it doesn't pay to leave it in the IRA or to leave it in your family, because all it does is aggravate it. And the same thing if you think you're going to leave it for your kids, you know, with that taken away of the stretch IRA, which was the second part that should alarm the seniors, which allowed them to amortize the payments over their lifetime, their kids' lifetime. Now, any non-spouse beneficiary must report that income within 10 years. That could be so disastrous. Just imagine you're 70 years young and you got 1 child and you have $500,000 in your IRA. That means your son or daughter is going to have to put $50,000 a year in their IRA for the next 10 years, or do it over 2 years or 5 years or whatever. But in any case, most of our kids are doing okay, and that just throws them off. So your gift, as you think, can be their 10-year tax curse to your children. And there's things you can do. So real examples. We had this person that was 80 years old. They had some kids, and they realized that, one, that he could go into the home real quick, and 2, and in this case, you know, everybody thinks, oh, you insure the older person. Well, we used him because all the money was in his name, and he was uninsurable, so we actually insured his spouse, who was taking care of him, keeping him out of the home and keeping him alive. And of course, if something happens, that goes tax-free to the heirs. Now, we've also done a couple where I had 2 doctors recently, that one was 67 and one was 70, and I don't know what happens in this market, but I always find, seems like 1 or 2 of them are sick. And one of them we put through underwriting where the person said they were so great, and it turns out the doctor had chronic leukemia, lymphocytic leukemia, and he knows his life is measured. So having $3 million sitting in his plan is not going to get to his kids or not going to get to his spouse during his lifetime or his wife's lifetime. So in that particular case, we showed the case to provide and did the IRA, Roth IRA conversion, as well as putting extra into life insurance to provide a tax-free income later to those that need it.
That absolutely is a beautiful solution, and everybody in that case wins. You know, yeah, everybody's getting, you're doing what's best for the family, and you're making sure it gets there in the most tax advantaged way possible, despite the government's tax grab, otherwise known as the Secure Act.
But the most important thing that I have to say, Seth, is that, you know, most of us brokers or people in the industry should really heed this. I read an article today that I could forward to you, that 90% of heirs on qualified accounts leave the broker. In other words, we don't have relationships with them. And 70% of all spouses of people that die that had retirement accounts leave their advisor. They don't go with the husband's advisor. So this is not only good for your client, but it's also good for you to protect your book and protect your clientele, and to generate in more generations. I've been in the business so long, and there's times where I've had 3 generations of clients related to each other. So it's very important.
Absolutely. That makes a ton of sense. Well, we greatly appreciate your time. We know it's incredibly valuable. For our folks who want to learn more about the Protected IRA program, where is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
My phone number is 860-761-1216. My website is www.himmelsteinfinancial.com, and Himmelstein is spelled Himmelstein, and financial, financial.com. So either one of those, you can reach me, or Paul at Himmelstein Financial. So thank you for your time.
Paul, thanks so much for being here. We greatly appreciate your time and your expertise.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.